AUC.TV.
Welcome to the Australian Ultimate Championships. It's taken 4 days, 8 games and a whole lot of sweat for these teams to get here. It's a battle for pride in the women's division for the bronze medal.
Good morning. Here we are on bronze medal day for Rogue and GWS Blaze. Crosstown derby, Oakley. Should be a good one.
It certainly is, Kylie. It's going to be an amazing game. We saw Rogue yesterday in the women's semi-final yesterday afternoon, which we had the pleasure of commentating that ourselves. And that was an absolute pearler of a game. We know that the GWS game versus Ellipsis also went really close and was hotly contested. So I have absolutely no doubt that both teams are going to be fighting really hard for this one today.
Yeah, well, they've already met once as we see the pool go up, and if it's a game anything like we saw last time, it'll be a cracker because it was 15-14 to Blaze, so Rogue's going to be looking for some redemption. As we see lots of pressure there, Amy Barnes pops it up to Beck Carmen just outside the end zone. She's looking for some options. Pops it back to Hudson. Hudson sees her again. Oh! Huge!
D!
Poached off D by Weir. Oh, what a start for her. Again. Oh! Rogue has a chance now. Through Parsons, but it's an overthrow right on the end zone for GWS. So they're going to get a second chance straight off the bat. We see Hanley walking over to the disc. I think she's going to take it back a couple of meters closer to the end zone. She's got Weir marking her. She pops up a hammer into plenty of space, but Mandy Fong gets in there.
Very evenly height match there, Mandy Fong.
Lu Hing had good position early, but Mandy Fong read that. It had enough hang time, and now we see Rogue again through Meehan. Off to Ryan, who's been fantastic for them all tournament. Back to Meehan. Here comes Weir.
There's been a pick downfield. Probably why there weren't many options there, Kylie.
I was thinking it was a little static, but I think the disc will stay with Weir. Both teams just feeling the game out early. That is a huge throw, and if you want to see a target, it's Ryan.
Beautiful.
Just outside the end zone, though. They need to be clinical to finish. Good choice from her, and patiently back to Meehan. Now they need to generate their cuts again.
Floaty flick.
Oh. 2-on-1 situation there. A lot of work to do for Emily Sutton, and she just wasn't able to overcome the obstacles that were two GWS players right in front of her.
It's been the story of this field, though, as well, Kylie, that people and throwers have been popping up that flick just a little bit too floaty into that end zone corner, and hasn't been very successful just for nearly any game that's been streamed here thus far.
Yeah, we see Hanley off to Barnes. Back into the middle to Lu Hing, overshoots her, and who's there? Of course, Weir. We see Perkins, disc in hand. She's looking for options.
It's been a pick call again.
It's a bit messy at the moment, the stack from Rogue, especially on that end zone. I think Coach Edgar would like to see them get a little bit cleaner there, give themselves a few more options. There's no lack of cuts, but they're just not very coordinated with the timing at the moment. Right, oh, there's a lot of pressure here from GWS. Oh, that's unfortunate. Kasuya putting up the disc from a very off-balance position.
Pops it up.
And then we see Carmen with a massive backhand to Lu Hing to Barnes. And GWS punish Rogue's inability to convert from their own, in front of their own end zone.
That's a credit to GWS. Rogue really had to work hard to get the disc even remotely close to their end zone, and GWS were able to convert from the turnover and score within 3 throws.
All right. Well, it was a pretty frenetic first point, wasn't it, Oakley?
It certainly was. I think, you know, the want of both teams, they want this so bad, and so coming into these types of games, you're a little bit offset, you're a little bit nervous, you have to play a couple of points to settle in, and I think hopefully this one will be a little bit cleaner, will be a little bit nicer, and probably a little bit more clinical for them. GWS going to be coming out with the pull now.
Be interesting
with
to
Murray.
see. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how far Murray gets it, because she's got a pretty hefty pull on her. The wind doesn't feel as strong yet as it was yesterday. Definitely still there. Similar sort of direction. More crossfield, would you say, Oakley?
Yeah, more crossfield, but that is a beautiful pull. Just shy of the end zone. Fielded by O'Neill to Chung. Hits Ramick on the inside there. She has Parsons coming back under for the dump. Ewan provides an under, but turns deep. Boyle with the around swing option. And the bid. Keeps that one alive, and there's been a pick call in the stack by the looks of it. Really need to start cleaning up their downfield stack, because those options and their flow are going to get greatly cut off.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the way that they're set at the moment, there's a fair bit of cleanliness there. So
back to Parsons. Chung providing the fill. And there has been another pick in the stack. And the disc is back in now. Chung looking for Parsons, can't find her. Hits Ramick. Chung goes up the line. She has Valancourt deep, but chooses not to hit her. Goes Parsons onto the far sideline. Overthrows Chung to it. Oh.
I was just about to say, Rogue are really just punching it down. They're cramming it down
that sideline.
We don't want to see that. We want to see them doing what they do so well, which is really using the width of the field beautifully.
That was Murray there to Thompson. Disc is now with Janicek. On this close sideline now.
C launches one.
it.
Right up to Shen. She's been big for them all tournament as well.
Looks to hit Monty, but doesn't.
Chang.
Big pick goal.
Both teams, I think probably what you say they're guilty of at the moment is just a bit of over-enthusiasm. So maybe cutting without having the discipline of seeing where everybody else is in the stack first before they're doing that, because we're seeing a fair bit of pick action from both teams. And I
think we might have actually had a travel call all the way back over here, which
right back on C's throw.
Everyone had moved on from.
Yeah, I wonder. I didn't notice that.
I didn't see that one either. I wonder
on the live.
Obviously, Georgia Ewan saw that one.
Yeah. Oh, so Ewan's saying she called the travel before the huck.
The huck, right.
So not a travel on the actual huck, but that, I guess.
On the slowdown.
The slowdown from C was such that Ewan felt like she couldn't put a mark on.
So the disc is coming on now. LSC with the disc. It's very close up the line cut. And it's not very possible to get an option off, but she does to Chang in the centre of the field. Wide to Monty, and she just can't get there.
Hannah Monty is fast, but she was asking a lot of her then.
It's exactly right. Hannah Monty does have a lot of speed on her, but that was well overthrown. Chung slowly walks towards the disc, with O'Neill setting up as her dump. Caught on that far sideline is not something where they want to be. There has been a foul call, I think they're between C and Ewan.
And I'm just looking at the flag on the other side of the field there, Oakley. The wind right now is actually blowing more left to right. So the direction that Rogue's going at the moment would be more the upwind end of the field, which was complete opposite to what we saw yesterday. So I think they'd be pretty happy to lock this one in, especially if the wind starts. It started to pick up a little bit from when we first got here, so especially if the wind continues at this level of intensity, it will make a little bit of a difference, that upwind, downwind.
It certainly will, and we did see that in the Manly Rogue game yesterday, that Manly were able to get a couple of upwinder points in, and that was the difference for them. Rachel Parsons, there we go.
I love seeing the acceleration there of Parsons. She wasn't sure that disc was going. Once she saw it leave the hand, she just accelerated those last couple of steps, and the big hand goes out. She's got a long reach, and she's snatched it in.
It did look like it was almost going to sail over her head, but as you said, she accelerated into that run and was able to keep it within her reach without needing to have to bid for it.
So Rogue will be happy with that, consolidating.
Two upwind points.
Yeah, and they're up 2-0 now. No, we haven't had enough coffee this morning, Oakley.
1-1.
I apologise. It's 1-1. Sorry, GWS fans. We're being incredibly unfair on GWS. How can I forget the last point scored down this end? But yes, both points so far have been scored up what is more of the upwind field. I don't know that the wind's going to is playing a huge factor right now, but we'll see whether that changes throughout the game. So Rogue happy to get on the board there as we see Meehan with the pull. Another nice pull. Hanley picks up the disc. Oh, a little bit too high there. Can't quite connect with Sutton.
Rogue giving the chance to convert and early break.
Just after we talk about the wind not playing too much of a factor, it rears its head. We see Lamb back across to Meehan, and again, just like that.
A small overthrow, but with the way the wind is in that corner over there, it just takes it.
All right, so Handley strides towards the disc. Similarly with Manly, this GWS team and Rogue have a lot of crossover with a lot of players having played for both clubs, Handley being one of those. Puts up her signature forehand, and Barnes reads it very well. Barnes pivoting around, gets it off to Tan, who sees one of their youngsters there in Matheson. Meehan gets in the way there and makes sure of the turn.
GWS really need to work when they have it on this high sideline, need to work to keep the disc there.
They do, yeah. As we see Perkins, disc in hand. She launches to the ever-present Ryan. Again, just outside the end zone. Back up to Weir. And Weir back to Ryan. Now that is more of the sort of play that I think Bree Edgar's going to want to see from her Rogue team.
And that's more the sort of throw that we want to see going in that direction, into the wind there, as we saw previously, one that went up just floats. It floats. So we need to make sure that, and she released it perfectly. They're releasing it nice and low so it doesn't scoop into that wind.
So we see the first point scored down this end of the field. I think it's going to be interesting to see as the game progresses how much of an impact Weir and Ryan continue to have for the Rogue team, because they've just been such central targets all, not just all tournament, but all season. And they're just a lethal combination.
They really are, and we've seen now, I think that's 2 successful hucks from Perkins to Ryan. That might be a combination that we'll potentially see more of this game, and I hope we do, because it's really nice to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some really nice touch on those throws, and that's perhaps been lacking a little bit earlier in this game with a number of overthrows that we're seeing.
So we had Rogue put the pull up there. We're now on this close-ish sideline. It was Perryman to Monty, to Carmen there. She dishes it back to Monty on that far sideline. They don't want to try and get trapped there too much. Crosby back into the center of the field. She looks for the inside. Hits Janasek. Oh, she goes for the inside flick but doesn't put it. Puts it. Oh, and that's an unfortunate drop there from Hudson.
Hudson, one of the veterans of this team, and you don't see that very often from her. No. She's definitely one of the steadying influences, so she'll be playing pretty hard defense here to try and correct that error.
So you see Parsons in the middle of the field to Valancourt now. She has Zalams on the under, surveying her options. Latamatos coming back for the fill. Beautiful float on that one into space. She looks for the big but doesn't hit it. Hits Ramick in the dump space. Down to Valancourt on that far sideline. She pops it up. She has Parsons going.
Oh.
A little bit too far in front.
I was just about to say that Rogue look at their best when they are moving that disc across the field, using the width, changing the angle of attack. And that throw was just too much on it and not enough touch.
We have Monty there on the far sideline, marked by Ewan. It's quite a tough mark. Her stall count's going to be getting high now. She finds a nice swing to Carmen. She pops it up. Oh, beautiful, Crosby. Monty now streaming, and nice flick up to her. Thank you very much. Crosby to Monty.
And if you think about the way that that passage of play went, Monty swung that disc across to Bet Carmen, who's put up the throw to Bet Crosby. Monty has motored from across the field after throwing that throw to Rebecca Carmen and ended up scoring in the end zone. She is a workhorse for this team. They need her to be. But that's an example of the kind of effort that she's putting in. To be involved in moving the disc to the high side of the field. And then you can see her coming into screen now. She is just at pace.
It was a beautiful throw from Monty into that upwind swing position. It's one that many teams have struggled with thus far, is being able to move it from that low side of the field in, you know, what we almost coined the death corners, to the high side of the field. And that throw from Monty was near on perfect there to Carmen. Then that huck from Carmen was absolutely pinpointed, perfect for Crosby to run onto. And then Monty provided a great continuation cut. It was a perfect passage of play.
Yeah, it was lovely. Great to see Crosby involved. She's new to the GWS club this year, and she's playing really well. Meehan with the disc, doesn't muck around. What a surprise, looking for Ryan. And that is a one-pass score for Rogue.
Very quick point there from Rogue, and it was unfortunate that the pull from GWS was significantly shorter. And I think that just set Rogue offense up really well there for that passage of play.
Yeah, they obviously had, they'd obviously targeted Ryan as the go-to player, and the fact that it was a short pull probably just helped them out a little bit. And we've talked about yesterday the difference that the good pulls are making in these conditions now that the wind has come up a little bit. And certainly Rogue's got some great pullers on their team, as to GWS, but going from right to left of your screen is definitely a much harder pull, and I think it'll be interesting to see. Those extra meters are going to be critical when it comes to giving your defense a chance to actually get set up before the offense is in full stride.
That's certainly right, and with that pull there, it was set up perfectly for Lyra Means' backhand distance. There was no need to fluff around with anything. She had Ryan on the deep, and she knew that she could hit that distance.
And we see a deeper pull there from Meehan, just outside the brick line. Sutton with the disc. Oh, that was very close, as we see Matheson. Oh, another awesome bid there by Minescu, just misses. And GWS are feeling the pressure of the Rogue D here. It really feels like it's stepped up a notch. Sutton with the disc in hand.
Oh,
again,
great grab.
Back to Matheson. She's been involved this point. Carmen with the disc. She'll be looking to punt it.
She pops it up. Lu Hing underneath it.
Oh,
too far.
Didn't quite have the shape on it, that one.
Apologies, that was tan on that long cut there.
Didn't quite have the shape on it that that her earlier throw had, did it? It was coming in a lot hotter.
Certainly did. That one had a lot of late curve on it, just towards as it was coming towards the back of the end zone there, and
I think you put that errant throw a little bit down to the pressure of the Rogue defense, because every pass was contested in that passage of play. You could really see the Team D step up, as we see Weir again offering that first cut. Meehan.
Oh,
that
Fung.
is very unfortunate for GWS Blaze. They did all the hard work. Fung picks up the scraps, and again an overthrow. This time Weir gets herself in the right spot and just can't hold on to it. Rogue with a couple of throws there, not going to the intended receiver. Again, we see the wind being involved. Sutton straight away with the disc. And we see Tan. Oh, that's a...
Oh, run
wow.
through D.
I was about to say that was a lovely inside-out throw, but I did not see Weir lurking there to pick up that defense. Her read of the game for someone so young is incredible.
She's finding great positioning on the field with great grab there.
That is massive. And then we see Perkins. Perkins being a lot more involved this game. Got a pick call downfield.
Pick in the stack.
It's cleaned up the last couple of points in the stack there. So,
and we also, it looks like an injury there from Lamb, being replaced now by Thompson. Mandy Fung.
She's strapped up there, so I don't know if she's just aggravated an existing injury, but...
Also, Mandy Fung decided to take a sub and has been replaced by Simone Ryan.
Wow. Gaining a little bit of height there with that switch out, aren't you?
Just a little bit.
All right, Perkins.
There has been a violation call from the stack. People just a little bit too eager to get playing again, Kylie.
Yeah, you can see. I've been really impressed with the level of intensity, though, for this game so far. Obviously, it's a bronze medal match. If you can't get yourself up for that, then that's a problem in itself. But it's been a hard few days on the bodies here of these athletes. And for them to all be running so strongly. So we see Perkins with a bailout cut from Ryan.
Oh,
that started so well for Rogue and ended almost comically.
We had almost Minescu bidding and then Kasuya bidding on that one to try and keep that disc alive just in the far corner there, but they couldn't quite get it.
Handley again with the disc to Sutton. We see Tan finding Thompson.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh!
We've got...
There was a lot of contact in that.
There's a lot of contact
Perkins went down a bit hard as well. Minescu's involved.
Sutton's on the ground. It's a carnage.
Here's the replay.
See what's happened here.
Oh, wow. So there's been an up the line throw there from Thompson. Manescu's come in and read it, has tripped Perkins over, who's then also taken out Sutton.
Right.
There's been a foul call.
Again, let's see. So, right, so as Manescu's come in, she's tripped Sutton on her way through.
And cleaned up Perkins in the process.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt a foul has occurred and some contact has occurred. It's just whether it's affected the play and if Sutton had potentially had a bid on that had the contact not been there. Simone Ryan is getting involved in providing some form of perspective, and our game advisor Steve Baker is there, providing some perspective on that one.
So the players are thinking that there's no contact at all, but yeah, there is.
There we go. So it's a retracted call.
Sutton's retracted the call. I think deciding that everything that happened there was incidental, which seems fair enough. We see Meehan with the disc in hand to Ryan.
Oh, it's a bit bobbly.
Pops up a disc with no spin on it at all to Meehan.
There's another pick. That was a very interesting little dishy there from Ryan.
It almost ended up a disaster, but meanwhile Lamb has the disc.
Oh no.
Oh, Kasuya just with a cold drop there.
And Luhing streams deep, but no one's prepared to pick it up and punt it to her yet.
That's a nice throw.
Oh.
And we see
Launches.
Sutton launching, but just couldn't bring that one back in field.
They've got to be careful with the hucks that they put up on that side of the field. The wind is pushing that sideline, and so they have to really calculate the angle. Otherwise, as we just saw just then, the disc is going to fly out, and as you can see, Lyra Meehan's collecting the disc, but she's advancing it quite far.
Yeah, it came out pretty early, so significant distance for Meehan to bring it back. This has turned into a scrappy point, which I don't think either team will be thrilled about. But again, Ryan presents. She pops it up.
Oh, she brings it down.
I mean, you'd put money on that, though, wouldn't you, based on how she's been playing? And the Ryan and Weir show, which is pretty much what we're seeing at the moment with some support from some other players. Wow, they are just dominating.
They are having both, yeah, as you said, Ryan and Weir, they are having absolutely phenomenal games this match, and they are certainly showing their team the intensity and the level that they can play to, and it would be great to see all the rest of the Rogue girls lift up to that.
Yeah, and look, we've got to say with Weir and Ryan, obviously they're both genetically blessed with some height genes, and they're both very strong players as well. But what I've been really pleased to see is that in addition to those obvious natural attributes that they have, the throws from both of them have been excellent, and more importantly, the decision making. I just think that they're both looking really calm and composed with the disc in hand and making great decisions for their team, as well as then obviously working hard and using their height advantages to sky people in packs.
That's certainly right. So it's a very nice pull there from Rogue as it's in the downfield options of the field. Janicek on this high sideline. She's trying to find an under. She gets one in Shen. To Chang now in the center of the field at about halfway. Janicek up the line. A little push pass there as there is another pick in the stack.
You know, you look at that stack as we're standing here, it doesn't look particularly cramped. I'm just not sure what is causing there to be so many picks. They're not on top of each other.
With Shen on that far sideline now. Pops it up, but that was a...
wasn't good out of the hand, was it?
Oh, there's a foul call on the throw, and that is possibly the reason why that didn't go to plan.
Makes a lot more sense.
So it's an uncontested foul. Disc is coming in on 0. Stack is resetting. Ladamados just getting back into position there.
Rogue are doing a good job on the unders here, and I think in this direction, that's good for them because... Oh! Wow. An injury there for Chung.
It floated really high above
did.
the heads of Chung and Chang, and they both had a really big misread on the float on that one.
Yeah, I was just saying that coming this direction, I think Rogue marking the unders is working really well for them because I haven't seen too much success from GWS on their hucks in this direction. Absolutely in the other direction, yes. But in this direction, they haven't, because of the float on that disc, we're not seeing as much accuracy probably since that first point when we saw them have some good connections there. So I think Rogue will be pleased with how their strategy's working in this direction. The question now is, can GWS shut them down going essentially downwind?
As we just bring it back into play after another pick call. Ladamados finds Parsons. She pops it up. She has Meehan going deep, but it's too far for her. And Hudson just taps it away.
She's a veteran. She knew that was coming. She's just hanging back there, waiting to make sure that she's in the right spot when that throw goes a little bit too far.
We just had a little bit of a stoppage there. It seemed as if Perryman had called a travel on the throw, but as it was an uncompleted pass, it remains the turnover. Hudson is bringing the disc up. She's looking for an immediate dump option.
Well, this is danger territory for GWS.
Floats it very high.
Oh, you could feel that building, couldn't you?
You could. She just popped it up far too high for Crosby there. A little bit too much angle on that disc. Rachel Parsons was right on her hip and wasn't going to let her get a second bid. O'Neill threads the inside to Zalams.
That is a huge bid there from Shen. Wow, Ali Zalams normally very secure with the disc in hand, but Shen just did enough, and now GWS have another chance.
Parsons!
Parsons returns the favour.
Rowe getting another shot now at this downwinder. Kath O'Neill picking up the disc. Trying to isolate in a little bit of space. Oh, she pops it up and slightly overthrows Ladamados, but she gets there. Sends it straight back to O'Neill. Looks for Ladamados again, but can't find it. Oh, Zalams with great hands, keeping it in play. Back to Ladamados there. She's looking for an under into the end zone. Finds Parsons, who's in.
Wow.
Bookends for Parsons.
Not the prettiest passage of play that you'll ever see, but Rogue will take it at this point.
That D from Rachel Parsons was huge, though. She got completely horizontal on that one.
I do love seeing some great D, and we saw Shen first off with a big bid on a static, really, Zalams. So Shen with all the work to do, and she just got in there enough. And then...
And as we see the replay now of the passage of play just before that goal occurred, there's the nice around there to Parsons.
That's lovely. That's lovely touch from Ladamados.
There's been a timeout called there. GWS now down 5-2.
Yeah, and I just could overhear Hannah Monty a little bit there in the circle with GWS, and I think what she was saying is pretty much spot on, that they want it so much at the moment that they've got 7 people cutting at the same time. And you saw that on both occasions when they were stuck on their line. It wasn't a case of having no one to throw to. It was just that the movement was all happening at once. It looked frenetic. And from a throwing perspective, almost as soon as you see one option, if you're not looking at that and you're looking for your next option, the cut's already happened because they're all happening so sort of simultaneously. So I think if GWS can just get a little bit more order to their cutting, it's definitely not a lack of effort or intensity on their part. A couple of little tweaks could see them change that pretty quickly. But at the moment, you can see from the body language of the Rogue players, they're feeling good, they're feeling pumped, and they'll be happy with the current score they've got here, up a couple of breaks early on GWS.
That's certainly right, Carly. And you know, it's day 4. We've got everyone's got tired legs, and so to know that there are still 7 people on the GWS team cutting is absolutely great. But we just need them to save that energy and time their cut a little bit more efficiently.
100%.
They've got the downwind point now, so hopefully this might be a little bit easier for them.
I was going to say this could be a good little steadier with the downwind point.
And we're going to see Weir with the pull, so it'll be interesting to see how she goes and the distance she can get on this upwinder. As we saw previously on the last short pull, Rogue had a very, very quick score. It's a bit of a roller, which is probably what you need in this situation.
Yeah, it's worked out quite well, as we see Handley pick it up to Sutton. She looks straight away for Barnes, and Barnes looks for Barnes looks for Carmen, but it just died in the wind, didn't it?
It's been happening far too much. The flick on this side of the field dies quickly or it floats far too much. You have to put the perfect amount of touch on it.
Well, Rogue now with an opportunity, if they can work it all the way downfield, as we see Weir with another strong cut, moving it back to C. Rogue with an opportunity to get another break. Minescu grabs hold of that one, back to Fung. Again, using the width of the field. Wow. Scraps being picked up there by Lamb.
Slight over. Bellacy!
Oh, Bellacy. That is a beautiful pickup for her, and she gets the team out of trouble. Weir again. She looks for Ryan, but she can't quite get her. Lamb.
Got Weir with the disc now. She hasn't got a dump option.
Oh, that was close there from Tan on the, had a little bit at it. Fung pops it up. Oh, Ryan, that was coming in with some heat on it.
It was a very low throw as well.
It was low, and it was slightly to the wrong direction from where she was cutting, so she had to stick the hand out, make that last minute directional change. GWS again now find themselves. Matheson with a disc in hand.
Oh, Carmen.
Carmen with a very good pickup. She's looking for her options.
Oh,
again,
that's
we see it just float out this side.
You saw the determination.
There was so much determination there on Sutton's face. She worked hard to get herself into that upline position.
She really did, and she really wanted that one, and she looked like she was about to bid for it as she realised it's too far. I'm not going to get it.
GWS just a little bit out of sync at the moment. Just a little bit out of sync.
Bit of perspective, just on exactly where the disc went out.
Yeah.
Fung conceding that she's okay with where she is.
All right, a couple of chuckles. We're back in.
Lamb now. Weir on the under. Overthrow though. And Carmen gets it and brings it down. GWS.
Eats that up. We've had a call, but
we've had it looks like another pit call in the stack.
I'm thinking that it affected what happened all the way over there. I'm not sure that any of those players involved heard that call.
I wouldn't say so, and I don't think I wouldn't say, Kylie, that anyone in the stack would have realistically can say that they realistically had a bid at that disc.
Well, I think it's more that it was Lamb who threw that. I don't know that she didn't have any options in the stack because there was a pick call. It was very much felt like she got the disc and within a couple of seconds always had that intention of moving it to Weir. So
here's the replay. Oh, there's Carmen.
The replay of Carmen's
Great grab. So game advisors, both game advisors involved in that one. Appears as if the call may have been resolved. The disc is going to stay with Rebecca Carmen.
I think that's the right decision to make.
Matheson, great grab.
Lovely pick up there.
Back to Carmen. Has Sutton on the inside, but Ryan was right on her tail.
Ryan
has a little bit of a poach with, and then there's that overthrow, but Barnes keeps it alive.
Picks it up well, does Barnes.
And pops it into Sutton.
No, that's Thompson.
Oh, it's
with
Thompson,
the score.
sorry.
Courtney Thompson at the moment, I mean, she's playing with a broken hand. Left hand, but she's pretty much, you know, there's some minimal opportunities for her to catch with two hands, so she's been doing a lot of one-handed catching. It's disappointing that she's carrying that injury because she has been one of their most dominating receivers throughout the season, and even with the broken hand, very much the consummate team player. So she's out there helping her team with only one good hand.
We see the replay here, that throw from Carmen. It really set up nice for Amy Barnes to get underneath it. And then she had the nice down the line there to Courtney Thompson. And Courtney Thompson had that separation of space because Simone Ryan had opted to stay and try and have a small poach in that lane.
Yeah, she did. And look, sometimes you've got to take those risks, you know. They've had a lot of reward from their sort of poaching for the extra second or two in the lane. And it's not always going to come off, but I think with a player like Ryan, you give her a little bit of leeway there. You give her a little bit of a license to make a few of those decisions, and you know that every now and then she's going to get you the block. Pull from Crosby.
The roller seems to be effective right now.
Yeah. Chung back on the field after an injury, but overshoots Ewan there. We see Murray picking up the disc for GWS. This is an opportunity for them now. If they can score here. Oh no.
Oh, dangerous territory.
Oh, that is dangerous territory.
Oh.
Really well done there.
Great work from
Crosby. Now we've got Janicek with the disc, and she launches.
Immediate foul call there from Murray.
There's a lot of contact on that play from
Here we
Ramek,
go
so
on the replay. Yeah, Murray certainly had hands to that one first, and it looked like the contact from behind potentially prevented it from being kept in her hand.
There's no contest there, which
there is a violation call.
We've got a violation. Everyone making the V sign on the field to let each other know what's going on.
So disc is coming back in.
Oh, Molly Valancourt, she saw that coming from a mile away.
It was a beautiful inside throw. There just was not enough separation there.
No, Valancourt always had that covered, so I think she couldn't believe her luck when the throw actually went off. Lu Hing tries to return serve, but Zalam comfortable with it. Ramek goes low to pick that one up. Pops it out wide to Ewan.
Oh!
Foul, uncontested foul on the throw from Monty.
Didn't come out of her hand nicely, and you could almost hear the contact as it happened.
And she called it immediately. Monty acknowledged it immediately. Ewan back to Ramek, who puts it out. That's going to go out again.
Oh, She tried her very, very best to keep that one in and toe that line.
The trajectory just looked sailing out from the moment that it left her hand.
And we've seen that multiple times in this game. Just the disc, when it's going up on this sideline, it has to be weighted perfectly.
Yeah. Really deep at the moment, GWS. Ooh. Two cutters going to exactly the same spot, and they've taken each other out.
Ooh, we've had, it looks like almost a little bit of a corky.
Yeah, Krista Shen hobbles her way off the field. Replaced by Amanda Hudson.
Not a bad person to get the disc in hands for.
No, she's not, but gee, Shen's been playing well. She's just a cutting machine. I mean, as is Hudson, so.
Another violation.
Everyone's very eager to get going here and a little overzealous, which has caused us to have a number of violations this game, which is quite unusual. You don't see too much of that.
Generally only happens once or twice as well before people clean up their act.
Another pit call.
Another pit call in the stack.
That one makes a little more sense because they're a little bit closer together than we've seen previously.
Very messy through the center portion of that field there. Oh
no. Well, that is no good. KJ Lingle just unable to connect with Hudson there. And Valancourt. Yeah, you just can't give Rogue that short field too often before they'll capitalise on it. So.
And it's interesting that it's almost a bit of a role reversal on Rogue's game yesterday with Manly. We saw Rogue being the team that made those small execution errors, and they were the ones that had those turnovers right at the front of their end zone and were giving it straight back to Manly. And Manly were doing exactly what they're doing right now to GWS and capitalising on every single error that was made. So it's great to see that Rogue have obviously had some team chats yesterday afternoon and last night and have really turned that confidence around, and they're the ones that are really stepping up. They're making clinical decisions and they're punishing GWS for every mistake that they make.
Yeah, and just like that, we see Rogue extend their lead a little bit. They're looking quite dominant at the moment.
They really are.
And I think the reason I say that is that GWS just look like they're having to work a lot harder to score every point. And if Rogue's able to get another one here, I think that is going to be a bit of a backbreaker for GWS. So hopefully for their sakes, they can have a nice, smooth, downwind offensive point. Keep it nice and clean and sort of get themselves just back into the groove a little bit.
It was a nice pull from Ian, but it floated out just a little bit too far. So Sutton brought it in at the brick and is now with Barnes on this high sideline to Carmen. She needs options to come back towards her as Hanley gives her an around option, but she can't quite get there. She throws to Chang in the center of the field, but Perkins applies so much pressure up.
There's a lot of pressure there from Perkins.
That Rogue now with the opportunity to get another upwind break. Meehan with the disc has C on that far sideline there. She wants Meehan back but can't get there, so she pops it up the line. Meehan now surveying the field for her option. She has Perkins. Wants to try and hit the around but can't. Pops it up with a high stall count.
Oh,
Weir!
Well. Why are we not surprised that when it comes to a pack grab, we see Kaya Weir once again coming down with the disc in hand. She is phenomenal.
As you said, Carly, you can't be surprised when she's the one that brings that stuff down. It wasn't the nicest throw from Meehan either.
No.
So Meehan should be going up and giving her a good pat in the back. Thank you very much.
Absolutely should. Oh, that's a heartbreaker for GWS because they had some good movement early Barnes to Carmen to get themselves moving. Those two teammates from Flying Foxes, the Australian Women's Masters team, bronze medal winning teammates in 2016. So they played a lot of Frisbee together. They both used to play together on Rogue as well. So they're really doing everything they can out there, but it just seems like they're breaking down a little bit on their offensive flow, which is very unlike GWS, and it's really hurting them at the moment.
That was great pressure applied from Perkins onto that dump swing as well to Chang in the centre of the field. She didn't necessarily get a hand to it, but Chang knew that she was there, and it provided enough doubt.
That's it. So we see Janasek to Perryman, up to Monty. Monty looking for options, finds Lu Hing. Lu Hing pops it to
Oh!
That is a huge D from Ali Zalams.
She's saying, you got me before, Shen, I'm going to get you back now.
That was fantastic because she didn't have much time to think about that. That's athletic instinct at its best. She heard the call, she turned and she launched. And for a little while there, you thought that that throw was going to be on from Lu Hing. As we see now, a big leap. Monty in plenty of space there to pick up those scraps.
It's a great hug.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Matheson.
That is Matheson. No wonder they're so excited about this youngster. That's a massive grab.
There's been a foul called somewhere, I believe. I saw the uncontested foul hand signal. I'm not sure who
on the mark.
The foul occurred between. Yep, on the mark.
Oh, that was almost a disaster. Monty rips one of her crazy forehands, and oh no!
Matheson nearly brought that one down.
But Matheson and Lu Hing have got in each other's way there. They were competing against each other. Nice pick up there by Ramick. Throw is a little bit errant. Pops it back to Latamados. She's looking to launch, sees Valancourt. All on this far side of the field for Rogue. Parsons with the disc in hand.
Rogue really needs to centre this.
And Parsons trying to, but there's just not a lot on offer, so she ends up having to pop it to Chung. Chung brings it back over into the middle of the field. Now with O'Neill. She's pointing where she wants her cutters. Pops it to Ramick. Oh, they're just working that sideline.
It's an overthrow to Chung. We see a signal for a pick in the stack, but I'm not entirely sure if a pick in the stack affected that up the line cut there from Chung.
Another one of those. There's another one of those question marks, isn't it? Did the thrower only have one option because there was a pick and they've decided no, she was throwing to that anyway. Legitimate turnover. And GWS with a full field standing between them and another point.
It's where Rogue wants the turnover to be though, Kylie. It's downwind, which means GWS has to go the full length of the field into the wind, which just makes obviously those throws a little bit harder for them, and it means that they can apply a little bit more pressure on those unders, try and force the bigs.
I definitely agree. If you're going to have a turnover, you may as well have it right on your opponent's end zone line, but I think they'll be disappointed that they weren't more disciplined in moving the disc to the middle of the field. They really played down the one side here. As we see Janasek, she's had a late bid on that, but a little bit too far for her outstretched arm. Rogue now got half the field to work with. Let's see if they can bring it back to this side of the field as Chung does that straight away with a lovely throw to Valancourt.
There was potentially a
pick I think there's
there.
A pick call. I'm not sure it's going to affect the disc being with Valancourt. Perryman talking with O'Neill and Valancourt about what's happened.
It looked as if O'Neill and Valancourt had both gone into that fill space, and then O'Neill had decided to pull out of it as she saw Valancourt was ahead of her. But potentially Perryman got picked as Kath O'Neill had pulled out of the cut. So the disc is going back to Chung now.
We are going back. Okay. Okay.
A few players just repositioning there on the field.
See whether Chung still able to move it to centre it into the middle of the field. She's looking, but no. She just chooses
Got
Latamatos in the back of the end zone. That is great vision by Eunice Chung, because with the way that everyone was positioned after that pick call, it wasn't really the normal setup structures that Rogue would be working with. So you could see Chung looking early to see if she could centre it. And then she decides, you know what? I see some space. I can throw into that space, and I'm going to back my receiver in. So Latamatos pretty happy with that one.
And with that score, Rogue take half.
Is that right? Or
That's half.
Is it half? I thought we were at 7-3.
No, so with that score, Rogue now take half. So the players are going to have a quick break. We'll have a quick break, Kylie, and we'll be back shortly with more action.
Fantastic.
And we're back with the women's bronze medal match here between Sydney's GWS and Rogue. It's been a very interesting game thus far, Kylie, and Rogue were able to get away and take half 8-3.
Yeah, a bit of a surprising scoreline. I think we were just discussing it at half-time that we definitely expected it to be closer, particularly considering the earlier matchup in the tournament. And this game means a lot for both teams. Rogue, last year at Nationals, had a big come-from-behind win to get the bronze medal, and GWS lost out to Ellipsis in the final last year, so they're current silver medalists. So they both want to leave this game with you know, a medal to take home for the trophy cabinet. And at this point, it's Rogue in the box seat.
Oh!
Just as I say that, a quick give go from Zalens to Chung. Doesn't come off as planned, and we see GWS with their first short field look to get a break straight out of half.
Oh!
Alicia Hanley with one of her signature IO flicks. She's been throwing that throw brilliantly for many years to Amy Barnes. And wow, that is exactly the kind of tonic that GWS Blaze needs straight out of half to give them a little bit of pep in their step.
Certainly right there, Kylie. An absolutely perfect way to start half, or to come back after halftime for this GWS team. That's going to give them a big boost of confidence coming out now. They got a downwind break, which means that, you know, if they're able to convert on this one and get the next upwind, it puts them in good stead to get a couple of points back on this Rogue team. Rogue are coming out downwind now, so it's obviously going to be the easier of the two directions to go in. But GWS, that's got to put some fire in their bellies now.
Definitely. This is a very important point for them. It was interesting to see the two approaches at halftime from the team. GWS whole team out throwing everyone up and about on their feet. It's almost like trying to generate some of that energy. Rogue, on the other hand, very relaxed, bit of music playing. We'll see which approach works. As we see, a good
great
pull.
pull from Crosby. Chung now with the disc. Hits Zellums on the under. She can't hold on to it though. Oh. GWS now get the opportunity to convert with another break. They need to hang on to this one, and they need to treasure this disc. And given the way that they did in that first point there back after half, I think they've got it in them to do it. As we see the disc centered to Janasek from Sutton.
Oh, big cut from Crosby.
Finds Crosby now in the center of the field, about halfway. Huge mark from Kath O'Neill. She goes for the around dump but can't find it. Her stall count's getting high. She pops it up.
Oh,
Lou Hing there.
Great work under pressure from Crosby.
Inside to Sutton. Sutton, it's too far. Too far for Sutton to bid, and Rogue now with the opportunity to bring it back down.
I wonder if GWS is a little disappointed they don't have either Hannah Monty or Rebecca Carmen on for this point. The two of them have been so pivotal for GWS Blaze, and wouldn't they have liked to score that one?
It certainly would have been an amazing point for them. However, they did well to get a couple of options off, but it's those overthrows that are going to kill them. As we see Boyle there on the far side of the field. Parsons in the dump position as she's coming back now for the around, but she's quite well covered from Thompson and has to lose a bit of ground. She hasn't got a dump, but finds Ramick on that far sideline, about 10 metres from the end zone. Chung provides an under, but she's overthrown Parsons!
Did Parsons get that?
Parsons got that one, but there was funnily enough, a pick called in the stack, I believe, so I don't know if it's going to stay or if it's going to count.
Got an injury. Oh, it's an injury call. Not a pick. Oh, we can see that Janisek's on the ground. Before that throw goes off. Well, I mean, incredible grab from Parsons. Let's not take that away from her.
100%. That was an incredible grab.
What point
did the injury occur? She slipped over. Parsons has gone up the line with that great grab.
What is going?
Looks like Parsons has returned the disc now to Ramick, and Janicek has subbed off.
That is
Hudson.
just unfortunate timing all round, isn't it?
Oh, it's so unfortunate because it was an absolutely great grab there from Rachel Parsons and
overshot the initial receiver, so make no mistake about that. That was never targeted for Rachel Parsons, so she's done a huge job to get there. Now Rogue get a second bite at the cherry. O'Neill pops it out to Chung. This one made sure of by Zalams. As I said, I just feel like Rogue looks at their best when they're using that width of the field. Like that looked easy for them. When they try and jamming into those small spaces, the throws have to be extremely accurate. Just makes it look a lot harder. But O'Neill here, lovely throw to Chung. And there's just no way for the defender to be able to shut down Zalams there when they're coming to the break side of the field and the defender's already trailing. That's definitely the way that they want to try and score their points. Nice and easy. Plenty of margin for error in the throws. Not that any was needed there by Chung. That was pinpoint.
Rogue did a really good job there at moving the mark around to create that, to open up the around dump space. It's, as you said, Kylie, they do look their best when they use that width, and that also means that they need to effectively use their fakes to move the mark, because it's obviously no secret at the moment the wind is pushing them to that side of the field, and that's where both teams want the disc to stay when they're on defense, is down that side of the field. So credit to Rogue there for being able to swing that disc around to the high side to open up that space for them.
Yeah, I think that goes down as an opportunity lost for GWS. They had a chance to consolidate that previous break, get themselves essentially an upwinder, and now they find themselves with the same sort of gap that we saw at half time.
That was a good pull there. I think it came up from me, and she did the roller, but it was able to sail out before it got stopped.
Oh, that was not a good throw from Perryman. Didn't look good out of the hand, and it gives Rogue another look at a pretty short field. Surprise, surprise, Ryan and Weir connecting again. Oh, Lamb does well to get open there under a little bit of pressure. Pick called. You could see that happening.
Saw that one as it occurred.
Late change of direction there from me, and meant that Shen just got picked by Carmen as she tried to follow her.
Good hands by Minescu, though, to keep that one up so the disc could be returned and possession maintained.
Wind starting to pick up again now.
And Lamb does not have anyone in the dump space currently, as Weir provides it.
Weir looking for options. Oh, fakes the hammer with a smile on her face. Minescu has to work hard to pick that up.
And there's another pick call. Very spread out stack they have there, Rogue.
Feels like there's been a disproportionately large number of pick calls in this game compared to any of the others that we've...
And another violation.
See, and violations. That's got to be maybe the 5th violation in this game. I've never seen anything like it.
Disc is back with Minescu. Perkins is out there in a little bit of space by herself.
Minescu off to Meehan, who sees Weir but restrains herself and hits Ryan instead. Back to Weir. Doesn't have a lot of options, but... Oh, okay, so Weir looks for Ryan again. Straight through the hands of Ryan, was coming in pretty hot. Minescu with a trademark launch in the general direction of the disc, but not able to reel that one in.
Minescu just came off with an injury there. I think she might have hit that turf a little bit hard after her bid there, trying to get that goal, and Chung appears to have gone on to replace her.
Yep, Chung on the field. Hudson now just bringing the disc back in. See GWS in a horizontal stack, some early movement from Shen. Ball before the disc.
Oh no!
Again, they just have a miscommunication with a throw into the dump space, and they give Rogue the disc on the line.
Murray did her absolute best to try and get that one. She, outstretched a bid for it, but was just completely overthrown by Carmen.
That is too easy for Rogue.
Clinical.
Too easy.
Even with 3 GWS defenders in the vicinity, Simone Ryan came down with
play.
it.
They see they spread their stack out, really just isolating Ryan in the middle, backing her to get open, which is a pretty good bet to make given the amount of times that she's scored goals for them this season.
Quick light work for Rogue there.
Oh, it's just turning into a bit of a walk in the park, isn't it? You think that GWS will need to score. Well, certainly they need to score this offensive point where they're essentially going upwind. And they're going to need some more after that one. But if they don't hold here, we're blowing out to 11-4.
It's really unfortunate that GWS couldn't hold on to that one because in that downwind position, that's, as we're saying, the easier point to kind of get at this point in time. And then with field position, so Rogue are in a good position to get another break now, as they can imagine they're going to apply a lot of pressure on those unders for GWS. As we see Sutton, we've got on the far sideline now, hits Crosby on the under. They're really being trapped on that far sideline, which is not the best position to be in. She tries to look for Janasek and finds the floaty over top. She seems to be towing the sideline to the centre of the field there to Tan. Oh, Barnes. Almost an overthrow to Barnes, but Barnes pulls it down. There was a pick call, so we'll just wait for the discussion and see if it's going to go back.
Barnes has been a workhorse for them. She really has, but she's always providing those late bailout cuts when needed. She's a cutting machine, but she needs some support at the moment from her teammates.
So disc goes back to Janasek. It's a turnover. Oh, I think Rogue are going to punish them here, Kylie.
We can just see in the body language of Rogue, they are buoyed at the moment, and that is not what you want to see as the opposition. Their body language is strong and positive. Parsons pops it up to Ramick, who...
Oh!
That's disappointing. That's a disappointing throw for me because they're on top. It's not required. They've been so patient on occasions, and they know how well it works when they can bring it up to the strong side of the field. That's just trying to finish the point. That's what that is, trying to finish the point.
You're exactly right, Kylie. That seemed very, very rushed. We've seen the capacity to be able to dump and swing to this high side of the field and then get the nice break in. So there's realistically no need for them to force the disc into the end zone like that. Disc is being brought in there now by Sutton.
Picked off.
Picked off by Ladamatos. O'Neill with the disc now.
See if she can
She's
make some better decisions.
Pops it up, Parsons. Rogue pushed that lead out now, 11-4. I mean, GWS, they've got to have their heads down a bit. Their confidence got to be a little bit shot. That's a very hard scoreline to come back from.
Long way back from here. And I think, again, as we see Rogue getting on the field, plenty of high fives being shared around, and yeah, as I said, they're buoyant. And you just don't, at the moment, it just doesn't feel like GWS is going to score. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even when I was talking about that being a wasteful throw from Ramick into the end zone, you almost get the sense from Rogue that they're like, well, it doesn't matter, we're going to get that disc back in a second, and they have been. And that's very uncharacteristic for GWS.
Yeah, Rogue are playing some very confident frisbee at the moment. It's very nice to see from them, but I just wish we could be seeing the same from GWS at the moment.
Yes,
It's a very different game to, I think, what was expected going into this.
Yeah, you definitely want more of a competitive scoreline than this. So as we see,
Monty.
wow, that is a massive put from Maddie O'Connor. You haven't seen much of her on the field today.
She ended her day yesterday with quite a bad, I think, ankle injury, and I saw her being driven to her car in one of the golf buggies. So it's nice to see her on the field, and I think the first time she's taken the field today, that's what she pulls out. Spectacular.
Maddie O'Connor. I mean, Maddie's still pretty young, but she's been playing this sport since she was a teenager. And having coached her before at Rogue, and also I coached her at university when she basically single-handedly dragged the Macquarie Uni Frisbee Club through uni games. I think she played every point. She did every pull, and she probably did 95% of the hucks in that game. I've seen plenty of that throw before, but that is a perfect time for her to bring it out, because GWS needed a little something to spark them off. And look, maybe this will give them a little run. I think, as I say, the most important point for them now is this one where they can consolidate that hold with an upwind break.
Certainly going to add a little bit more confidence to them.
So we see Lu Hing with the pull. That just had a lot of height to it. It was not lacking in effort, but the technique was never going to see it travel very far. And we see
almost a one-shot wonder here potentially from Rogue.
Yeah, well they've hit deeper shots than this, but Chung with the disc straight up to Ramick. Love to see her move it into the middle of the field, and she does. To Chung. Oh, we've got a call though. There's a call back from Ramick's throw, which is a shame because Rogue are back to playing that beautiful spread that we like to see, where they keep it up on this the side of the field that's much better for them to throw wind-wise. But we're going back to a discussion.
I almost think it might be an offensive foul.
Yeah,
as it looks
I think
like
you could be right.
Lu Hing is indicating that Ramick has hit her on the around of that backhand. And there's a bit of discussion happening around it. Game advisor Tim Saunders there to provide some insight and perspective. Might see the replay here as the fake. She called that foul pretty straight away, but it didn't look like that there was contact on that from the replay. So
both of these players new to their respective clubs this year. Lu Hing has been living in Canada for a number of years, so she used to play with Wildcard many moons ago. So back on the Australian scene, and Ramick, another Canadian, also in her first contest with Rogue. And then we just see Parsons just so casually works a little bit of fancy feet, a little bit of a dance move there, keeps it in. And yeah, just very, very relaxed about it, isn't she? Look at the body language on Rachel Parsons. It's like she just expected that was going to happen.
And as you said, Rogue were playing, that was some beautiful frisbee, and Ramick took the exact same option, which I'm very happy to see, because we've seen point and point again that when they try and cram it down that sideline, it's just easy turnovers. So I'm very happy to see that she took that same option to the centre of the field to Chung, who took the same option around to Parsons, but this time Parsons was just in the end zone.
Yes. It's definitely, it looks so much easier for Rogue when they bring it up to this close side of the field, doesn't it? They just look so much more in control and everything looks that little bit easier.
So it's a 12-5 lead to Rogue. GWS coming down with now. They have to score this one to keep themselves even remotely in this game now. The Rogue, we've seen that the Rogue defense, even on the GWS downwinds, they're unrelentless. They apply so much pressure and they force those turns and then they capitalize from them. So GWS really need to treasure the disc as they're given to it now. We're going to see Lyra Meehan with a nice pull, considering that's in the upwind position.
Yeah, and you look at the difference between the last upwind pull from GWS and that one, and you're probably talking 30 metres.
Barnes now with the disc, marked by Lamb, nice and tight. She pops it up, overthrows Carmen. Perkins is right there for the defence. And that's exactly what Rogue wanted.
Yeah, well, the challenge for GWS is they have to play a bit loose now because the gap's too big. So you can't play conservative. Got to go for your big shots, and that obviously brings more risk. Whereas Rogue now, they can work this up the field.
Got Meehan on the far side there. Hits Sutton on the under. They definitely need to bring it back to this high side of the field. Ryan. She tries for the around to Meehan but can't get there. She has no option coming towards her, so she loses a bit of ground on the direct backwards to Meehan. C providing the fill option and again having to come right around. Finds Lamb there. There's very static downfield stack. So Meehan now with a nice swing to Perkins.
Finally, they bring it
There's
here.
Ryan.
And again, just too easy once they get themselves sorted.
And it was really difficult there for Rogue to be able to get that disc moving. They had 3 or 4 throws in a row where they were just caught on that sideline. They were either going directly forward or directly back. Their options significantly opened up once they hit the center of the field and were able to open up the width.
Yeah, and it took a little while for them to have a couple of players that offered those field cuts, offered those cuts to the center of the field. And once they got back in that structure, we know that's the structure they love to play. It's just a question of whether they remember to do it at all times during the points. So it's almost like it clicks in. Oh, that's right. We want to get it up to this side of the field. And you could see it from that very first pass that came out and just got them probably 10 to 12 metres across the field. They were out. And it was always going to be a goal from that moment forward.
It was a very nice throw there from Perkins to Ryan. She put a beautiful amount of float on it. She popped it up just enough. Ryan, obviously, with that little bit of extra height on her, she knew that a little bit of extra pop on that disc wasn't going to matter at all.
No, and we see GWS now finding themselves in that upwind position again. Moving it nicely to start with, but that's just too high by Janasek, and Monty never going to have any sort of option of picking that up. Rogue again with the disc. Finding Ewan on this sideline here. Moving it across to Zalams. And we see Zalams putting it out too far for Valancourt. He has a great bid at it. Monty working hard still.
Oh.
That's a really good read from her. She rips one.
Oh, that was a
rips one to C. And C is quick, but that just didn't have the touch on it that it needed. Just needed a little bit more. Monty provided that cut. No chance for Rogue to pick her up quickly enough. And GWS kind of out of nowhere, really. Get an upwinder. Look at Perryman.
And by the time the Rogue defender in the end zone realised, I think it was Ramick, it was too late.
Well, I'm happy that GWS scored that one because it was looking like for a moment there that Rogue was just going to steamroll their way to this bronze medal and that GWS weren't going to offer up any sort of
Fight.
resistance at all.
It's a beautiful pull from Murray. Had a nice distance on it. Meehan fields it. She hits Weir on the under. Kasuya comes back and around, but she pops it up and Fung manages to hang on to that one.
Good pick up of the scraps by Fung.
Weir with the up the line. Rogue getting closer towards their end zone now. They need to, again, bring it towards the center of the field. See on that far sideline. She pops it in, and it's a D there. It's a D there from Courtney Thompson, which is not really surprising given that it was just crammed down that sideline, Kylie. They didn't dump and swing it to the high side of the field, which we've been seen to work for them.
You know how I feel about it, Oakley. I don't think I need to say it
again.
Oh,
Mandy Fung with a run through D.
But Mandy Fung says, look, we'll have another go.
There is a call. Fung's going to have a very high stall count here. She needs to get rid of this one relatively quickly. She's got Mean in her dump space. She pops it out, sees there, can't tow it in.
I mean, this is the time where it's fortunate for Rogue that they've got this big buffer right now.
It really is. They've got a little bit more to play with, and so
they've had 2 opportunities.
The points aren't as crucial for them.
And they've still got GWS trapped on their own line at the moment.
Oh,
Laura Minescu. It looked like Thompson had that, but she's not really able to go with both hands out in front of her with that broken hand, and Minescu seizes the opportunity. Meehan pops it up.
Weir.
Again, not the best throw from Meehan, but Weir just gets the motors running, and she pulls that in. I think that Meehan might even be at the point now where she's got to buy Weir some sort of little gift after this game, doesn't she, to say thanks for making her look good, because...
Thanks for making me look good. Thanks for saving all of those errant throws that I've popped up.
Because Weir has really bailed her out a couple of times. And look, I'm being unfair on Meehan because her throws have been, and her pulls have been absolutely pivotal to Rogue's success this whole season. So, you know, you're happy to have one of your best throwers with a little bit more license to, you know, have a turnover or 2. But I think Meehan sets pretty high standards for herself. So I think some of those throws, if she had again, she'd rethink.
And Kylie, that brings up game point for Rogue.
Just like that.
Just like that. They're going in the downwind position as well, which isn't the best position for GWS to be in right now.
No. Rogue 1 break away from a bronze medal, which after the disappointment of yesterday would be extremely satisfying for them, but they're not there yet. Let's see if GWS can offer up a last little bit of fight. So we see Sutton moving the disc to Monty. She rips the forehand to Barnes.
Underneath it.
Oh, Barnes did all the hard work there. It was coming in at an odd angle. She pivoted herself around a couple of times, got the read on it, had the position, just couldn't hold on to it.
It really looked like on the replay there, it was in Barnes's hands, but it just popped out slightly and then straight over the head.
The bronze medal, because she's been an instrumental part of their season. She's been one of their standouts, and don't let her casual demeanour fool you. She is one of the most competitive people I have ever met, and she will be thrilled to bits that Rogue's been able to bring home a bronze medal, particularly after that disappointment from yesterday.
That certainly was. That was a great clinical point there. We saw exactly what Rogue do best. Dump and swing the disc across the width of the field. And then they Ramick there with that really nice crossfield forehand to Valancourt. She's able to pop it up over for Rachel Parsons to just easily run on to, and as you said, such a fitting way for Rogue to finish that game.
15-6. I don't think anyone would have predicted that scoreline. It's by far the best win that Rogue has had over GWS all season. Gives them a little bit of revenge for the pool play, where GWS got up in an absolute nail-biter on Universe 15-14. And I think Rogue were just far too strong across the board today and really just came out, stuck to their game plan, and deserved victors of the bronze medal.
That's certainly right, Kylie. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining me this morning. We have the women's gold medal match up next between Melbourne Ellipsis and Sydney's Manly.
Should be a cracker.
Should be a cracker.
See you then.
Alti.tv